Alright guys, welcome back to the Dark Souls 3 all-in-one guide. Today we're going to be going through Archdragon Peak, which is the last of the main areas in the vanilla game of Dark Souls 3, which contains two bosses, the Ancient Wyvern and everybody's nemesis, the Nameless King. We're also going to take additional steps to complete Hawkward's Quest. However, we're not going to complete Hawkward's Quest in this episode. We're going to reserve that for the next episode, since we're not going to be going through any areas yet. We're not going to go to the DLC yet. We're going to mop up all the side quests in the next episode, and then after that we'll start going into the DLC. We're just going to put on our stealth setup for this first part, since we're going to be running through Irithyll Dungeon. We're not going to fight any of the enemies. There's no point in it. And then we're going to get an achievement for entering Archdragon Peak. But I do recommend stocking up on some arrows, large arrows and feather arrows, if you don't have any. Now you guys might notice that my stats are a little bit different, because when I logged in for the first time after a week and a half, I had all my data wiped for some reason, but it's a good thing I made backup saves. So I did make some additional changes. I leveled up my faith because I had felt some remorse that I had not done so. Now I highly recommend, if you don't have a slab, that you save up 30k and go ahead and buy one from the Handmaiden. We didn't buy one from the Handmaiden because we didn't have enough money, because we leveled up our stats instead. But if you're following my build, you're going to want to use a slab on a plus 10 lightning bandit knife. A plus 10 lightning bandit knife will absolutely annihilate all of the enemies in this area. They're all extremely weak to lightning, and dragons are also weak to lightning, so you can see where we're going with this. It's also extremely helpful in the Nameless King fight. Not on the second phase, but the first phase will become a joke. So, to get the achievement for getting into Archdragon Peak, you're going to need the Path of the Dragon Gesture, but you should already have it, because after you killed Osiris, and before you got into the Untended Graves, you should have gotten it, so you're going to need it here. You're just going to use it right here. And you'll get the achievement upon entering the area. Now, there is no bonfire at the beginning of this area, but don't worry, you'll get one shortly. This area contains some pretty spongy enemies called manservants. You've already fought them before getting to the Untended Graves, but there's a lot of them in this area, and some of them are big giant ones that have really hard-hitting weapons. So we want to just approach this guy from behind using Hidden Body, backstab him. You see we're doing like 800 damage per backstab here with the sword ring on, but when we get our hands on a plus 10 lightning bandit knife, we're going to be doing 1200 damage. So that's a significant increase. And the game's giving you subtle hints here, as it's saying, well, here's a lightning gem, maybe you ought to use it. Now we're just going to go Hidden Body here and run through this area. There's no sense in fighting these enemies. The only item that we really want is a Titanite chunk, and we're going to get it. We're going to loop around and get it. There's a shortcut there, but it's going to be pretty much useless to us. We're just going to come around here and just get this chunk right here. Nothing of importance left. We're just going to get to the bonfire. They'll lose aggro if you go Hidden Body again. Now we're coming up on a boss here, the Ancient Wyvern. Now, you can kill this boss in a couple of different ways. You can go through the gauntlet of enemies and do it the traditional way the game wants you to do it, by jumping off and plunging attacking it, or you can do the speedrunning strat, which is pretty difficult to pull off, to be honest. And I didn't have much success trying it, but I did it, and so I'm going to put it at the end of this video, just to show you that it is possible. We're going to get our next ring, the Lightning Clutch ring, over here. Sometimes if you run fast enough, you can get this guy from behind, but just put up your shield, because this guy will deflect right off of your shield, and he'll be helpless against you. Much like the other clutch rings, the Lightning Clutch ring will add 15% damage to your lightning attacks, which is pretty cool. When you have something like Avalon equipped with lightning bolts, it does a pretty good amount of damage, to be honest. Now, over here, we want to open the gate, but we don't want to go too far in, because we still need to loot this area. So we're going to get our bow out and our sniper set up, and we're going to get right here and shoot this guy in the head. 2 shots ought to do it. Now we can cheese this guy. You shoot him once to get his attention, and then run over here and just get a little bit of distance. Right here is fine, and he cannot hit you. And he won't cross this threshold where the gate was. And trust me, these giant manservants are not to be messed with. If there's an easy way to take them out, do it. Because they do a heavy amount of damage to you, and they stagger you, knock you across the screen. Can't take more than 2 or 3 hits usually. And I still only have like 18 vigor, so my health pool is not very high. Now, like I said, I'm going to show you 2 ways to kill the Ancient Wyvern. But this is going to be the main way here, the way most people do it. And we want to make sure we have the Lingering Dragon Crest ring on. We're going to be running through this entire area. We're not going to be engaging any enemies right now. We're going to loot this entire area after the Ancient Wyvern is dead. But right now, we don't care about anything on the ground that looks shiny. It's just going to get us caught, and we're going to get hit by the Ancient Wyvern or some other enemy. You just want to go hidden body right here and start running. And keep that clock of 20 seconds in your head. And make sure to just keep recasting. Good place to recast is right here. And on the long bridge where the big guys are waiting for you. And definitely recast here before moving forward, because one guy has an axe and a flail and he can hit you from anywhere. Stay behind this wall just to make sure you don't get hit by the fire. And we're going to grab some twinkling because we're not coming back to this area ever again. We just want to go ahead and get it now. But after this episode, we'll be able to buy all upgrade materials. We will not have to farm for them anymore, although they are hella expensive. But like I said, I'm going to show you guys a farming method next episode that's going to make it a lot easier to get any kind of money you need. We're going to put on the symbol of avarice before punching down. Just wait till he puts his head down after spewing fire, and you'll never miss this. Just run off, don't roll, don't jump, just run off. And you'll never miss it. Make sure to have the Shield of Wan out as well. Now, before continuing on into the next area, we're going to go back to Firelink and upgrade a Lightning Bandit Knife to +10. And we're going to level up as well. And then we're going to go back to the previous bonfire and just loot all of the area where we ran past all those enemies. Depending on how you spent your resources, you'll need 12 Titanite chunks in order to get this thing to +9 and a slab to get it to +10, but trust me, it will be well worth it. I was actually taken back by how much damage this thing was doing over my regular sharp bandit knife at +10 with the lightning blade equipped. It just didn't do enough damage. And when you're farming the Lothric Knights for sunlight metals, this is definitely the knife you're going to want. Our faith is at 30 now. Ideally, we're going to want our faith at 40 and our intelligence at 40 so that we can maximize damage with pyromancies. That's our next goal in the future. Our distant goal that we're going to look forward to. Because pyromancies can be very, very effective. Since we got to go through New Game +3, we might as well have some fun trivializing some earlier bosses with some of those pyromancies. But by the time we finish grinding for the Covenant items, we're going to have plenty of levels. Probably max out everything we want to before we even go into New Game Plus. Now for our next ring, the Ring of Steel Protection. It's off to the right here. You'll have to go down the stairs and cross a perilous ledge to get it. This will be your 64th ring out of 107. Here's where we're going to kill the wyvern during the speed running strat. We're going to do it in this area. It's kind of difficult to do, but I found if you use a long weapon like a katana, like a washing pole, or the chaos blade, I use the chaos blade for that kill, it's not as hard. But I think the positioning was wrong when I fail it like 5 times in a row, and then you'll see me do it, and it was like, well, I didn't have to go too far past that first pillar to get it. You'll see what I mean. Right here, we're going to go back to our old strategies. We're going to go hidden body. We're going to backstab this guy. No sense in fighting him head on. I didn't equip my lightning dagger yet, and I realize it when I don't do enough damage to some of them. We're going to poison this group. Go hidden body again. I'm going to backstab this guy. Just stay far enough away so you don't trigger him. Now we're not going to take on those enemies that we poisoned yet because we're going to kill some more up here. And then by the time we kill these guys, those guys will be dead. And sometimes they drop chunks, so it's always a good idea to go back and look. But you want to stand right here and wait for the guy to drop down and just backstab him. And just get ready to put your shield up for this guy. It'll deflect right off of it. And you can see I didn't do as much damage, and I took a hit there. And this is when I realized, hey, I need to put that bandit knife on that I just upgraded. The lightning bandit knife plus 10. No sense in using Estus. We're just going to use the Sun Princess ring. We're not going to be regenerating as much because we're not using a blessed item on top of it, but these guys are nearly dead. If they don't drop chunks, they'll usually drop large Titanite shards anyway. And sometimes they'll drop their gear. Now we're coming up on our first giant manservant, and like I said before, these guys are very tanky and very hard to deal with. So we want to soften them up as much as possible using poison, and then just chip at them any way we can. And this is pretty much the strategy we're going to use for these guys. Just going head on with them, you can do it, but it's just, they do so much damage and they stagger you so hard. It's just better to just soften them up and come back and finish them off. Now be careful, don't move too far to the left here because you'll see that guy is programmed to just lunge forward at you. Even if you're invisible, it's just one of those enemies. He doesn't know where you are, but he's always programmed to just do that lunge. Now you want to go to the left, not the right. Up here is your first giant manservant. We're going to go hidden body and we're going to poison him. It usually takes 3 casts. I guess they're a little bit resistant to toxic or poison, but it will proc. You just got to be patient. I think it only took 2 here, but sometimes I cast 3 just to be safe. Make sure you keep a timer in your head. You do not want to get caught out in the open with this guy. He will wreck your life. Backstab this guy. Now quickly run down here and backstab the next one here. He's none the wiser. And we're just going to sidestep off here. We want to equip our sniper setup. But we want to make sure we go hidden body when we're sniping for a couple of reasons. The first reason is we don't want the giant manservant to see us and come attack us from behind. And the second reason is this guy will shoot you with a homing fireball, and it almost always will hit you, even through the wall here. So we just want to snipe him with using hidden body. 2 arrows ought to do it with the Hawk Ring. Now, this guy, we got a little bit of his health down. We want to be cautious. We'll use large arrows. He's still going to hit us here. Make sure you get the lingering Dragon Crest ring out again. You don't want to get caught out in the open. We get a little close to this guy, and he does hit us once. And You'll just see the damage that he causes is not to be messed with. And there you go. Look at that. But he still doesn't know where we are. He'll come investigate though, but we'll be able to take him out. 2 more large arrows. And he's done. Make sure to get the 2 titanite chunks up here. There's some lightning bolts down here. Now we're not going to deal with the next giant manservant. There's really no reason. He's got an axe and a flail. So he's going to do more damage to us. He gets us caught with that axe and flail. It'll catch you on the way back too. So this guy's really a pain in the butt. We're just going to run past him. You see we're doing 1200 damage now with our backstabs with the lightning bandit knife. Now right here, you're going to face your first summoner. They're going to summon in this knight here. Just poison him right here. And go deal with the summoner. Just loop around here. They usually know where you are no matter if you have hidden body on or not. I just usually wait till they're finished casting and just run to them and just go to town. It usually takes 3 hits with the bandit knife, with the lightning bandit knife. Very quick work. Now, we're going to let the poison do its work, so we're going to go poison some more enemies. There are 2 manservants out these windows here. You can poison them through the wall, and they're guarding scales. There are 2 scales, I believe, in 2 areas here. These 2 in particular are guarding 1 scale, and there's another one guarded by an annoying rock creature, which we're going to deal with as well. Just make sure you proc the poison. And then go check on the knight. Half of his health is gone already. And he doesn't heal himself, so that's good. Now, I'm making a little bit of a mistake here. If you make too much noise and knock around some plates and stuff like I do here, he'll know where you are. But if you run away, we're just going to circle back around. And we'll backstab him for the win. And we'll get the next ring, the Calamity Ring. Probably didn't need to use hidden body here. Probably could have just approached him from behind. He'll drop his sword. The Drake Blood Sword from Dark Souls 2. Now we're going to use the Path of the Dragon Gesture right here to get our next ring. And we're going to go get our next scale over here. This one's guarded by one of those annoying rock creatures. Which is the best way to kill these guys is to just kick them. But we're going to use the lightning bandit knife. Even though they're pretty resistant to all damage, it seems, except blunt damage. We're going to make short work of it anyway. When they start nudging you, they could just nudge you right off the ledge. So annoying to deal with those enemies. We're just going to loot this area and go to the next section. You can open up the shortcut, but it's pretty much a useless shortcut unless you're not using bonfires, I guess. But it's right here. You'll get Ornstein's weapon right here. You actually don't have to kill the Nameless King to get it. You can get it right through the gate. Dragon Slayer Spear. Now for this section, I like to go hidden body and poison this first manservant through the wall here. Again, he's just programmed to stick his neck out. Just poison him, and we're going to run and backstab this guy. and then run into this area right here, and then go hidden body again, and backstab the next guy. We're going to get our poison out. The game has a trap here. This is a major trap. The game wants you to come this way and deal with these two enemies, and then the big giant manservant comes in for the finishing move. As you can see, he's just waiting because he's going to go on patrol and he's going to see you fighting, and he's going to be right there to just end your day. But we're going to poison him and move on and just finish off this first guy we poisoned. One hit from the bandit knife will take him out now. As I've played this game, I've realized that poison is not really meant to kill the enemy. It's just meant to make it easier to get quick kills in other ways. Once you understand that, you'll understand that poison is actually very useful in this game. We're just going to take out our bow and finish these guys off from distance. They usually don't aggro even if you shoot them. This guy's just going to start walking forward, but by the time he knows what's going on, he's dead. Make sure to go hidden body if you decide to go in this room and loot the area, because that giant manservant will come in and just absolutely destroy you. We're going to go this way. This is the way you're meant to go. You're supposed to drop down here and plunge attack the guy down here, but he's already on his little patrol because we wasted too much time dealing with those other enemies. But you want to come up here and get your next ring, the Thunder Stoneplate Ring, which can be very useful for the Nameless King. See, the manservant's almost dead. Now, he dies for some reason, and I don't know what killed him. I don't know if he committed suicide or what, but he just disappears from the map. I don't know where he went. I was just dealing with the smaller one here, and I was looking for the big guy, and I couldn't find him. I just remembered I poisoned him, and I know the poison didn't finish him off. His health pool is too large. I have no idea where he went. It was a mystery that was never solved. Oh well. Usually I just pump a few arrows into him anyway and he's dead. I think I missed a chest here with some scales in it. But I'm going to come back to this area. Yeah, to the left there, there's a staircase that leads to a chest. For whatever reason, I just completely ignored it. Don't be like me and ignore the chest. Right here, you just want to run past this annoying rock creature and loop back around and pick up the item. And let the dragon swoop in and drop back down and just come back around again. This is the best way to do it. Just run, run, run. We'll deal with the dragon in the next episode, not this one. You want to stick to the left and go up this path here to avoid more rock creatures. We're going to face another summoner here, which will summon an NPC that has the Ricard's Rapier. Now, it's very important to farm these enemies because they have the staff that you want, the Mendicant staff, which will give you more souls per kill. And when you stack that with additional items, you're going to get even more souls. And I'll show you guys how to maximize your souls later. But let them summon the enemy first before you kill him. We're just going to poison the guy just for extra insurance, and we're going to backstab him, and he won't know what hit him. Before he gets up, he'll be dead. Easy peasy. This area right here is where you want to farm for the Mendicant staff, because the bonfire is straight ahead and it's just a quick jog away. Easy to farm. Now, this is probably the most difficult area in the entire game, but we're going to make a mockery of it. Luckily for us, there is an NPC summon here, which we're going to use as a distraction. But first, we're going to go hidden body and kind of thin the ranks a little bit. We can get this first guy here from a backstab. You're kind of on a time limit here because the giant manservants, and there's several of them, are on their way down. So you just want to quickly backstab these 3 guys. There's 2 here, and there's 1 more up here. Go hidden body again. Backstab this one. If you did it just like this, you should be just on target. You want to come over here to this area right here and start poisoning the hell out of these guys. Make sure to keep your hidden body active. You do not want to get caught with all these guys. There are several of these guys coming down. Make sure they're all poisoned. Once you manage to proc all of them, then feel free to come over here and get the Dragon Chaser's Ashes, which will allow us to buy Titanite Chunks, Twinkling Titanite, and Titanite Scales. We'll be able to buy any upgrade material now, but the problem is they're hella expensive. You want to run back to the beginning now, using Hidden Body, and summon in Hawkward here. And we're going to run up here, get our bow set up out, and we're just going to kind of help Hawkward from a distance. He can hold his own for a while, but he will die pretty fast because he's got all those manservants on him, and that's a lot to deal with at once. But we've already poisoned them to kind of give him an edge, and we're going to be chipping away at him from distance as well. I recommend using feather arrows here. I don't think I was, actually. I was trying to use large arrows and they drop too quickly. Even with the Hawk Ring set up, you want to get the maximum distance here. So I recommend the feather arrows. It doesn't matter if Hawkward dies here, but he gives you a bit of a hint if you don't know what to do next to complete his quest. But with the poison and us sniping from a distance and him fighting them, it's enough of a distraction to clear the area completely. He does have some Estus as well, so he can hold his own, like I said. A couple of soul items here. You could funnel the giant guys in here, but I've tried it, and I gotta tell you, it's not good. It's not a good idea. They do so much damage. Now we want to switch back to our sharp bandit knife because we're going to be dealing with Havel soon, and the lightning dagger is not the best option for him. And we want to make sure we have the Hornet Ring equipped. Hawkward will show us what to do if we don't know what to do next. You basically just want to go to the top of the area here and use the Path of the Dragon Gesture to get the last piece of the Dragon Stones. But Hawkward is jealous. He wants the Dragon Stones for himself, so we're going to have to kill him, but we'll do that in the next episode. He wants to become the true dragon. If he's still alive and you walk up here, he will initiate the Path of Dragon Gesture. And you'll get the last piece. Now it's time for Havel. The best way to deal with Havel is to use the Hornet Ring and Carthus Rouge and just pick your moments to attack. He hits me 3 times, which is 3 of my 4 Estus flasks are going to go right into that. He hits so hard, of course, but he can be bled out pretty quickly with Carthus Rouge, as you'll see. And if you have the right eye of Pontiff and even the Carthus Beacon, you'll do even more damage to him. Not necessary, though. We're just going to kick this rock creature off. And it's time for Havel. If you want to, you can actually kick his shield away using the Horsehoof Ring, although using Carthus Rouge is still going to be your best bet. I'm going to put on the right eye of Pontiff here and just bleed him out. I still think this is the best way. Get a free backstab to start with. He does have a bit of hyper armor, as you'll see. He hits me 3 times. 3 good wallops to the head here. I used 3 of my 4 flasks right here. There's some hyper armor for you. He really got us good there. We get him the rest of the way. Now when he reaches half health, he'll go into his Uber Stone. He'll cast, I think it's, I don't know what it is. It's a stone. He's going to be turned into stone. Do not fight him in this state. You can do it initially with a backstabber, just hit him a few times, but at this point you don't engage. You're in defensive mode now. You're not going to do hardly any damage to him, and he's just going to do more damage to you. It's just not worth it. Just use this time to back up and rebuff. When he comes out of it, you'll be able to finish him off. And that's it. Once you kill Havel here, his armor will be accessible in the Farron Keep area, which we'll get next episode. The next episode is going to be mopping up a lot of stuff. Side quests, and just getting random items. I cast Spook here and get the next miracle, the Great Magic Barrier. Again, we'll just kick off these creatures. Best way to deal with them. Now we're going to go back to Firelink and prepare for the Nameless King. Make sure to talk to Andre here. He will give you an item. All we have left to do now is to go back to where we fought the Abyss Watchers to take on Hawkward and finish his quest. But like I said, we're not going to do that this episode.
Ashen for the link. Very well, then take it.
I'm going attunement here. I need to get to 17 so I can have 3 slots. Pretty soon I'm going to be using additional spells. Now, for everyone's dreaded boss fight here, the Nameless King is severely overrated in my opinion. I don't think he's really that difficult. I have fought this guy so many times and really never really struggled. I'm not even going to use any Estus during this fight. I don't take a single hit from him. The thing is, if you have the right setup, you're not going to have a problem. And I'm going to show you guys the right setup to use. Any build is viable, but I still think this build, I kill him in like 2 or 3 minutes. But you're definitely going to want the Lightning Bandit Knife for the first phase. The dragon is incredibly weak to it. But you're also going to want your Sharp Bandit Knife so you can apply your dark damage. And we're going to use the same setup we used for the Twin Princes to get extra damage from the Miracle. If you want, you can also put in some Charcoal Pine Bundles in a pinch, because the Nameless King is also weak to fire. Kind of like a backup, but I don't use it. Dark damage is all we need for the second phase. I am going to make some slight adjustments here once I come back in. We're going to go with another ring slot. We're going to take off the Silver Covetous Ring. We're going to just re-equip it once we kill the Nameless King. We're going to go with the Stamina Ring. Stamina is very important in this fight. And we need to equip a chime. We're going to use the crystal chime that we got from the archives. And this is it. This is our setup. Make sure you have the Lightning Bandit Knife equipped for the first phase, and double-hand it. I recommend not locking on initially. You want to keep your eye on the Nameless King. The dragon himself is not that important. It's the Nameless King that's going to cause the damage to you. Unless you see the Wyvern go up in the air, then he'll spew fire down below. But here you want to, if he goes that charge up attack right there, you need to run past him. But you can see how much damage that lightning dagger is doing to him. He's already at half health. And of course, you know this is the attack you need to punish. And he's nearly dead. One more hit. But next phase, you definitely want to lock on to the Nameless King. And we're going to use dark damage here. So switch to your other Bandit Knife. And it's just, don't get greedy. 1 or 2 hits. With the Bandit Knife, you can get more hits in because it's quick. And it does bleed. The closer you stay to the Nameless King, the easier your time you're going to have. You want to limit his moveset as much as possible, and by getting close to him, this is the way to do it. See, I'm just doing a roll here and there. There's nothing complicated. And then when he does this attack, that's when you can really punish him. You can either repost him or keep going to town on him. And if he does this attack, we got lucky again. But if he does this charge up attack, don't be afraid of it. Just go in for hits because you can pretty much kill him at that point. And that's it. Nameless King, which is touted as the hardest boss in the game, absolutely trivialized. Make sure to put on the Symbol of Avarice to maximize your souls again. And we'll get a slab for our troubles. And Ornstein's armor is further down the way. Now we're going to go back to Firelink, level up, and then I'm going to show you guys the alternate speed method for killing the Ancient Wyvern, and that'll be the episode.
Link. Very well, then take.
Going to work on intelligence a little bit.
Ashen one.
Now for the speed running strat, like I said, you're going to want a fire resistant shield, which we're going to use the shield that we buffed with fire resistance earlier in the game, and we're going to use the Chaos Blade. It's non-upgraded, it doesn't need to be upgraded. Anything will kill it as long as you plunge attack it. I failed quite a few times before actually getting it, but I just wanted to see if it was actually possible. I didn't know if they had patched it or not. But you want to come over here to the right, come down the stairs. You don't have to get it right away, but you definitely want to have a fire-resistant shield, and this is a good one to have. When he turns his head to the left, you want to come up here, and the trick is you got to plunge attack him by jumping forward, doing a jumping attack. But if you get caught in the fire, just put your shield up. You won't take too much damage. And all you have to do is just sidestep here to avoid the other one. I miss it quite a few times. I think I missed it 5 times. But I found that as soon as you get past the first pillar, that's when you want to do a jumping attack. You don't really have very much time to do this. Like I said, you could probably, by the time it takes you to do it, sometimes you can just do it the traditional way. And there it is. I noticed that as soon as you pass that first pillar, just go ahead and do the jumping attack, and usually you'll get it. And that's it. I'll see you guys in the next episode.